I'm going to say this. It doesn't mean you're good at it. What does that matter? It doesn't matter if you're good at it. It just matters that you love it. That's all that matters. It's joy.
Welcome to the Spiritual Artist Podcast. This is Chris Miller. I invite you to join me as I interview artists from a variety of disciplines. We'll share powerful stories and lessons learned while making their art.
Good day, spiritual artists. This is CJMiller, the host of the Spiritual Artist Podcast. It's fast approaching Easter weekend, and I just want to share a story with you to get you going for this weekend. But first, I want to tell you what happened to me yesterday. So yesterday, I met an old friend for lunch, someone I hadn't seen in probably 15 years, a long time. And while we were having lunch, I was explaining my whole brand and what I do on the spiritual artist retreats and how I help people not only be better artists, but also be more mindful and conscious creators, more mindful, conscious creators. And so I'm talking to him, and I could see I'm very adept at seeing if I'm hitting someone, if they're listening and getting what I'm saying or not. And I could tell that he really wasn't understanding what it was I do. And so I thought, well, let's talk on a personal level. I explained to him how my book is about how when you paint, I feel that a greater power is coming through you, and I can feel that power speaking through me. And so I'm sort of co-creating with whatever you want to call it, God, spirit. I call it creative intelligence. To me, it's the same wonderful energy that's powering the entire universe. And so I explained that to him, and he explained that he was an atheist. And so I thought, well, how could I reach him? And so the best way to reach someone like this is to find out what they love. So I said to him, tell me, what's your passion? And it was really funny. He kind of literally physically jolted back. His whole body jolted back. The question was almost so foreign to him. He didn't know how to respond, and he stuttered a little bit, and he thought, I guess I don't know if I have a passion. And he looked and he thought very carefully. And then he explained, he goes, well, I go to the gym every day. So I guess that's a passion of mine. And that's true. Something we do every day is often based on a passion. But I could see that he really didn't understand the concept of a passion. And so, of course, CJ is always thinking about it. And I'm driving home and I'm thinking, does everybody have a passion? My whole brand and message is about finding your passion, using that passion to co-create with spirit, to use the individualized expression of who you are in your passion. But does everybody have a passion? How many people out there aren't even aware of that? And so I did some research online. I came back to my computer and did some research to find out, what is passion? What exactly is passion? And this is the definition I got. Passion is a strong inner pull towards something that brings you aliveness, deep interest, or meaningful engagement, often without needing a reason. Very interesting, right? Often without needing a reason. So, if you're listening to this, I imagine that you are passionate about making art, but maybe not. Maybe you've just stumbled across this channel. Maybe you're just passionate about growth, personal growth. That could be another thing. I feel I'm very fortunate to realize that I have so many passions in my life. But what I think about my passion is that they came with me. They really came with me. I have always been fascinated with nature. Always. When I was a little kid, I would go out and plant things in the yard. I have a picture of me, probably 10 years old, with garden plants in the window where I was growing to take outdoors and have a garden in the backyard up in Pennsylvania. Um, I've been fascinated with nature. It just draws me. And the important part here is often without needing a reason. So I don't think we have just one passion. I think we often have several passions. But what about those people, and you may be one of them, that doesn't feel you have a passion? So I kept researching, kept looking online. And then I found all these articles that said, well, asking people about a passion, it puts pressure on them. It makes them feel uncomfortable if they don't have one. And, I never want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. So if you're listening to this podcast and if any way you're like, whoa, you feel uncomfortable, don't. This is just an opportunity Everything is an opportunity. So when I say, do you have a passion? And if something doesn't come to your mind right away, it's merely opening a door for possibilities for you to kind of examine yourself and be more mindful about who you are. What is it that you love to do? What is it that you love to do and you would do no matter what? No matter what. It doesn't matter if you got a prize, an award, or payment or anything. You just have to do it. So I started thinking, is it true? Can some people truly have no passion? And I used my AI, and she came back and she quoted all these people that said, well, actually, sometimes you don't have a passion in the immediacy of it. You don't know immediately. But when you task down and practice something and consciously know it's going to be a hard, difficult journey. They used words like that. Hard, difficult, challenging journey that you will ultimately develop a passion. And I thought about that. You might agree with that statement. You might agree. I think we all do work on our passions, but I don't think it feels like work. I really don't. And that can be doing accounting. I have met accountants that are passionate about numbers. So putting me in a room with an accountant and saying, why can't Chris learn and develop a passion for accounting? It's just not in me. It's just not aligned with who I am. And I believe that we all come onto this planet with a unique creative DNA. And that creative DNA is what we are here to express. So if you still don't know your passion, I want you to think about something that you were drawn to when you were very young. See, what happens is oftentimes society's expectations, our parents' expectations, force us away from our passion. Sometimes our sexual orientation, we're told that we can't be that. When I was very young, I also loved and I still enjoy baking. But there was a strong message where I grew up in Pennsylvania that baking was for girls. And so I'm automatically be pushed away from something that I naturally just love to do. I would just love to go in and play with seasonings and bake these interesting desserts. Used to love it. And I still do it some. So that was a passion. That was something that I was passionate about. But I want you to realize if you can't find one, that's because something blocked it. That's okay. We are born into a life situation. Do you know what a life situation is? A life situation is we're born into a certain body. We're born into a certain part of the country. We're born into a certain religion or no religion. We're born into sometimes an economy, a certain economy. We might be born on the seaport and everybody around us is fishermen, but maybe our passion is farming. And so it's challenging when life conflicts with you that way, isn't it? You're born a certain way and everything is pushing you away from it, right? So, what I encourage you to do is sit down and think about what you really were drawn to when you were young. What did you do? And you know what? Here's another thing that pulls us away from our passion. Money. When I said this, when I put this information into AI, I said, do some research on passion. And she came back with some specialists that said, well, people oftentimes don't pursue their passion because it's not economically feasible. Well, you know what? Economics have nothing to do with passion. You have an attraction to something. I didn't say, what is your passion that pays well? Pay has nothing to do with it. I paint because I love to paint. It's not because I think I'm going to be a big, expensive, rich artist. It's just I love the process. I love making things pretty. I know that sounds weird, but that's always been a passion of mine. Making something attractive, making it better looking, making it have harmony. The idea of structure, balance, color, light. I'm passionate for it, right? I bet you are too if you're listening to this. So I think what I want to say is passion is something before you were told not to be. It's something that's underneath all the layers of obligation. Well, I have to be in a fishing industry because of this, or I have to love football because I'm male, or I have to like sewing because I'm a female. Sometimes our passions don't align with the package that we came in, or the culture, or the culture. So I want to encourage you to reach out and locate your passion. Take a little piece of paper, stick it to the fridge, stick it on your mirror, and start focusing on the top of it, right? What is my passion? What are my passions? Something might come to mind right away, or it might need to sit up there for a couple days while you go through your routine and figure out what is it? What do I love to do? And so I want to go back to this. Sometimes a passion can be I have a passion for crossword puzzles. It's not glamorous. It's not being a doctor. It's not saving the world. It's just I love words and crossword puzzles. You might be that person. Please don't discount that. A spiritual artist does not focus on monetary benefit. And if you're painting right now and you're thinking, I'm not a good painter because people won't pay me, you're missing the point. You are a good painter because when you paint, you get lost in the moment. You get lost in presence. What was this quote? What did this quote say? To meaningful engagement. You're meaningfully engaged. You lose time. You lose thoughts. You're present to it. You are present to it. You know, as we approach this Easter weekend, I was thinking about the term, the passion of Christ. The passion of Christ. It's something that some of you might be dealing with this weekend, not everybody. But what it's really thinking, what I think this means is it's about what are you willing to carry? What are you willing to stay with in service of a love, the love for it, greater than self preservation? What do you have to do no matter what? No matter what. No matter what, would you get up 15 minutes earlier to do that crossword puzzle? Then it's a passion. And start recognizing them and start listing them. And most importantly, honor them. We come onto this plane, this physical plane, because we're here to express as spirit. And we need to express the part of spirit that we came with. The part of spirit that you came with. So it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. It's not about building the skill set. It's about the attraction to. It's about the place of staying there. It's the thing you do even if nobody saw you doing it. It's the thing that makes time disappear. It doesn't, you simply just have to do it. So, what I'd like to do here now is I'm going to do a brief visualization exercise, and hopefully it will help you uncover something that might have been buried long ago in your childhood. Oh, I want to share one more story with you before we do this visualization exercise. You know, I'm working on a book. I just finished it. I sent it to the publisher and they're laying it out. It's on parables. And when I was working on this book on parables, I suddenly had this enlightening moment. And I remembered that even when I was a little kid, I used to love to tell stories. And I'd go out on summer nights with the neighborhood kids and we would sit outside somewhere and I would tell a ghost story. I love telling stories. And so when I wrote this book on parables, which I sort of stumbled upon, I realized that that was a passion that I had given up. I was told you can't make money telling stories. Telling stories is something that they did a long time ago. It's not what we do in modern America. Don't Telling stories is silly. It's just fun. It's not productive. It doesn't make money. All those things must have shut me down. And so I rediscovered a passion. So I'm going to ask you this weekend to rediscover your passion, the passion of you. All right. So here we go. If you're driving, don't do this right now. Save this for later. Try to find a moment where you can sit in quiet and do this brief visualization with me. I want you to take that piece of paper. What are my passions? Sit it next to you with a pencil. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to ground yourself in the seat that you're at. I want you to be present to this moment. I want you to take a deep breath in and out, focusing on that word passion. Passion. All right? One more breath in and out. You're right here now with me. And for the next 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, you're going to be present to this visualization. And so I want you to sit there and recognize who you are today. Where are you? Are you at work? Are you at home? What are you doing? What would you describe yourself as? Just take a moment to think about that. Who am I today? Am I a business person? Am I retired? Am I an artist? Am I learning to be an artist? I'm just going to give you a moment to recognize who you are today. Now, all I know is that we come into this life knowing fully who we are. And so I'm going to ask you to step back from who you are today and kind of go back in time. I'm going to ask you to go back in time and all the way back. So, right now, we're going to go back, and I want you to pinpoint in your memory somewhere when you were around anywhere from 7 to 12, young like that. I want you to think about a summer day in your childhood. I want you to focus on a summer memory. What summer memory? It can be anything. It can be when you were hiking with some friends. It can be going down to the local swimming pool. It can be roller skating. It can be sitting in your backyard. There's as many different memories here as there are people listening to this. I want you to go back in time. I want you to drop down, put down on the floor all that you are today, and walk backwards in your mind's eye, walking back in time to that beautiful summer day. I want you specifically to remember a good day, a good day, some day where everything was just wonderful. You were in a moment of awe. And I want you to look around and remember where you are. So, right now, go back to whether somewhere from whatever, I guess, even younger, 5 to 12, somewhere in there, remembering this good day, what you're doing. What are you doing? What are you doing on this beautiful summer day? It's summer. School's out. You have no obligations. Are you with a bunch of people? Are you alone? Are you hiking in the woods? Or are you in the city? Are you working? Or are you playing? Are you just sleeping and watching cartoons? It doesn't matter. I want you to remember the feeling of where you are. And most importantly now, what are you doing? What are you doing? And are you doing it with joy? Because obviously, this is a perfect day. This is a perfect slice memory of your childhood. So you're going to remember what you're doing because this is a key. This is a key to your passion. If you're outside with a bunch of kids, then you are passionate about people. And that is a passion. I'm passionate about working with people. Okay? If you're at home alone in your room reading a book, that's a passion. You love research, you love reading. That's honorable. Everything is honorable. If you're doing crossword puzzles, it's a perfectly good answer to this. So think about what you're doing. What are you doing on this beautiful blue sky, perfect weather summer day? What are you doing? Now, I want you to pick that up and hold it in your arms. Whatever you're doing, the memory of what you're doing, the description, the feeling. And I want you to start walking back to the forward, back to the future, back forward. You're walking back to where we are today. You're coming right back to this call and you're seeing yourself sitting and listening to this podcast. And when you woke up, when you open your eyes, I'm going to have you write down on that piece of paper what you're doing and what you think the passion was. What was your passion? So open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Now, was that good? Did you remember something? I want you to write it down on the piece of paper. Now, automatically, your ego self is going to criticize it. That's not a passion. People will laugh at. Stop. Do you hear me? Stop. Don't let that critical, judgmental ego mind step in. That is all the messaging that you were taught in this life. And I want you to, as you see in my shirt here, I want you to choose joy. Choose joy and see that passion and write it down. And I want you to honor it. I want you to honor it this next week. And I want you to remember it. If it's something you're still doing today, that's great. That's great. You're very much in touch with who you are. If it's something you forgot, that's great, right? That's great. So, what you can do is make a commitment to do it in the next week. If it's a crossword puzzle, go buy one. If it's being with a lot of people, plan a party. If it's being alone, buy a book. What have you been ignoring about yourself up until this point? What passion have you been ignoring? So this spring, I want you to remember your passion and who you are, and that you are a spiritual artist because you know how to tap into that truth of who you are. So thank you for listening to this podcast on passion, and hopefully this will lead you forward into learning who you are. And remember, I'm going to say this. It doesn't mean you're good at it. What does that matter? It doesn't matter if you're good at it. It just matters that you love it. That's all that matters. It's joy. So Have a great week. Enjoy the weekend. I have a podcast on Monday with an artist. It'll be out next week. I'm looking forward to it. You go out there and be a spiritual artist. Talk to you soon. Thanks again for listening to the Spiritual Artist Podcast. Whether you're watching this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, make sure you choose the subscribe button so that you will receive updates when new segments are released. Most importantly, be still, listen, and know that you are a spiritual artist.